Hey guys, welcome to the Heart of David. Hope you guys are doing well wherever you are. This will probably be, I did this as I said in my last video, at night, as I said I would. I think you guys would find this interesting. And before I even start, I want to say this. So, like when I show other people's videos, it's for the purpose of God. No, I don't ask their permission. When videos are out, I just all for God, right? But I want to give a thanks to this person, Porsche's in Prophecy, because I'd never seen anything like this before with Carl Lawley. So thank you. I'm breathless, so bear with me. This is, as you can see there, Job's encrypted and prophetic tribulation timeline revealed. And although I've read Job a number of times, those are long chapters, right? Those, for me anyways, maybe after this I would go back and read Job again. But I can't pretend to know a lot about it. Excuse me. But this guy does. And as we go along this video, with the numbers that he's giving, pay close attention. This isn't a long video, and I will jump in when I think it's necessary, if at all. So I saw this yesterday. I was just like, the depths of God is, it's crazy how God encrypts things, right? Just watch this. You've probably never seen this before, and this is why I'm doing it. So without further ado, pay attention to the numbers.
Grace, God gave us a sequential end-time timeline that was hidden in the Psalms for thousands of years, waiting to be discovered. It has now been revealed here at the last minutes of the church age. This channel discusses end-time prophecy from the unique perspective of the encrypted timeline in the Psalms. If you want to know where we are on the timeline, please subscribe and take some time to watch the other videos on this channel. Also, please consider purchasing a copy of Encrypted, Unlocking the Timeline Revelation in the Psalms. Not only will it help you to better understand the time we're living in, but it will also be a very important book to leave behind. God bless you.
Verse 8 of chapter 6 was, there are 60 queens and 80 concubines and virgins without number. Okay? The total of 60 queens and 80 concubines is 140. The number 140 does appear in the Bible in the book of Job. Job lived another 140 years after his great tribulation period, according to the 42nd chapter of Job. You notice that they're in the great tribulation period because that's what he was going through. And that's what Israel.
I'm just going to say very quickly that I'm not saying that this is, but I find it extremely interesting and believable. I don't know. When you hear the numbers, just pay attention.
Israel's going to go through for 42 months. That's two. Job lived another 140 years after his great tribulation in the vines and virgins.
Psalms. Not only will it help you to better understand the time we're living in, but it will also be a very important book to leave behind.
And 80 concubines and virgins. Verse 8 of chapter 6 was, there are 60 queens and 80 concubines and virgins without number. Okay? The total of 60 queens and 80 concubines is 140. The number 140 does appear in the Bible in the book of Job. Job lived another 140 years after his great tribulation period, according to the 42nd chapter of Job. You notice that they're in the great tribulation period because that's what he was going through. And that's what Israel's going to go through for 42 months. Imagine that. There might be a connection there. In that same chapter, we discover that Job's fortune and family was restored back to him twofold. Okay? In Job 1, he had 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and had a large number of servants. I want to stop right here and just add this. Donkeys, camels, goats, sheep, they die, new ones are born. So think about it. There's got to be a reason why these numbers are in here, because on any given day these numbers would change, right?
Yeah.
That You know that. You guys have horses, so
Yep.
things happen. New ones come along, old ones die off. So for these exact numbers to be in here, there's got to be a reason for it, and we're going to get to that. In Job 42, so that was the first chapter. Now in Job 42, the last chapter, he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys, exactly double. And he also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. The same number as before, only replaced. So the old ones died. Now he has 7 new sons and 3 new daughters. Okay? So let's do some simple math. He started with 7 sons and 3 daughters in chapter 1. Those children died, but he had 7 more sons and 3 more daughters in his 140 extra years. If you add all of those children together, you get a total of 20. Because there were 10 in the beginning, and now 10 more. So he had a total of 20 children. Now, let's count the animals. Job started with 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 oxen, and 500 donkeys. At the end of his life, he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. Let's get rid of the zeros and add those together. The total of his animals was 33. Remember, I just dumped all the zeros. If you don't mix animals and people together, because you shouldn't, let's take the 20 children and place that number before the 33 animals and see what we get. We get 2033. Israel's 84th year, which is 2 times 42, and that will be 2032/2033. That's the start of the 1,000 year time of abundance under the rule of Jesus. Do you see how that connects? Job's time of abundance and our time of abundance in the millennial kingdom. I believe the book.
So, I mean, there's just so much there. I have to intervene on the 2033. See how he said he dropped those zeros? Well, some people may say, hey, that's a reach. But I think this is important that you hear this. If that's true, where we are in the world right now that you see, our world is out of control. A nuclear exchange will happen within probably a year, is my guess. It's just amazing how things are just so heated up. So, it's believable. This is nothing about date setting. It's nothing about that, is what I'm saying. It's believable where we are right now. We're in some type of tribulation. We are. When did it begin? Is anyone's best guess. Then there will be the Great Tribulation. It's believable. It's believable that this could go on, and more wars will continue. More wars will continue until the Great Tribulation. And is that seal 6? Right? I always talk about seal 6 because that's when the wrath begins. That year, 2032, 2033, it almost in my, like, if I was to tell you my personal view, I'd say that's quite accurate. That's quite accurate. And here's one reason. And you may say, I'm reaching. I don't think so. In the book of Revelation, John saw what looked like a burning mountain of fire, right? Thrown into the sea. And do you think it's just coincidental that the only time in our recent memory anyways, yes, probably ever in our recent memory, we have this 1,000-foot long, 350 foot wide Apophis. And it's going to be here in 2029. Think of that year. So if that, just have to go back into the book of Revelation and look. Timeline in the book of Revelation seems difficult to me, but anyways, if that were, it's going to come, they say it's going to come within 30,000 miles or kilometers of Earth. That's 10 times closer than the moon is. That's crazy, man. It fits Revelation. I'm not the only one who thinks this. Who knows if that's the beginning of something, and then it's going to be 2032, it comes back again. We know in the Bible it talks about breaking things without human means. I don't think it's that one. I would buy the burning mountain. And then there's other ones that in Revelation that could appear like a nuclear weapon, but I just wanted to say this.
The book of Job is a treasure chest full of wisdom for those who will be seeking the Lord in the days of the tribulation, especially the final 42-month Great Tribulation. Job is a type and shadow of that time, and there are important details sprinkled throughout his story that will be of great value one day very soon. Here's one more from the book of Job, since I don't think I will have time to finish a complete study before we're gone. Do you remember that Job had 3 friends who seemed to make his life worse during his 42 chapters? Actually, little known fact, he had 3.5 friends. There isn't much teaching about this last friend. He remains quiet until chapter 32. His name was Elihu, and he points out that he did not want to speak because he was so much younger than Job and his other 3 friends. Job 32:6. So Elihu, the son of Barachel and the Buzite, answered and said, I am young in years, and you are very old. Therefore I was afraid and dared not declare my opinion to you. Even though Elihu said he didn't want to speak, he actually had a lot to say. When he started, he didn't stop. He went on for 7 chapters and didn't shut up until the Lord spoke. Out of the storm is where the Lord spoke in chapter 38. Interestingly, the Lord never spoke to or rebuked Elihu as he did the other 3 friends in chapter 42. Elihu in Hebrew means he is my God.
How interesting.
Do you see how the Lord encrypted all of this together? The great tribulation that Job suffered over 42 chapters, 3.5 friends, which ended with him having an abundance that totals 20 children and 33,000 animals over his lifetime, is a...
Take a good look at this. This is when Apophis is here. 2029, and I don't know, I'm just showing you this because I want to show you this video. Middle of the tribulation, the Great Tribulation. Keep your eye on that asteroid, man. And women.
The type and shadow of what Israel will suffer during their 42 months / 3.5 years Great Tribulation, which will end in 2033. I believe the Millennial Kingdom starts in 2033, but because of God's calendar versus ours, you could say 2032, 2033, it really doesn't matter. You just can't make that stuff up.
Nope.
And I'm not smart enough to figure that out. If God didn't show me these things, it wouldn't happen. I wouldn't know about it. I'd just be working on carburetor, fix carburetor. Remember, we were talking about the 60 queens and 80 concubines. That's how all of this started, because that results in 140, and that's kind of how the Lord opened that up. And I thought, wait a minute, where do I know that number from? And then I started digging, and it's like, no way. Anyway, this is actually the end. Thank you. God bless you. And it's hot in here. I'm ready to go home. Good night.
Thank you very much. That was very eye-opening. Wow, man. Just think about it. It's 2025, and we're in the midway. We're right at midway. 6 months in. And just say 2029 was it. We don't have... Listen, I don't know what God is going to do for sure. I know he's going to protect us somehow after Seal 6. Because it says twice in there, his wrath has come. So I know that, Seal The seal 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The red horse, the black horse, the white horse bringing hell with it. Over a quarter of the earth. Who knows, like in North America, who knows where these wars are going to be? I certainly hope they're not here. But, man, a lot of people are going to die in wars. And then, here, listen, I don't want to get all like that, but God is going to do something for us to protect us. He'll put seals on our foreheads. He knows who are his. I don't know how he's going to protect us, if anyone. I'm the one who's... I'm not going to say I'm the one. I know there's other people. But due to, I take meds for pain, and I have fears. But I've worked it out with God. I hope you have too. Our salvation is very, very close. You know what I want to do? For people who don't think we are, in that time, well, I would call you spiritually blind, because we've never had so many signs. And according to Matthew 24 and the other pieces of the Olivet Discourse, it's just going to increase a lot. And I always wanted to do this. I want to go through the news cycle. I'm not going to click on stories, but I'm just going to give you an idea of what our world is right now. So with that video, it's quite evident God is a God of numbers. And you know this if you've studied the Bible, right? And if you're watching this, study the Bible. Read the Bible continuously. Just keep reading it and learning. And videos too. But it seems every time I try to show the news stories, it doesn't do what I want. But I think it will this time. Sorry guys, I'm really breathless. Because I'm suffering from a kidney stone, so... Let's take a look. Let's look in the news here. This is what I mean when I mean to go to a different window and then all of a sudden I switch to this by mistake. This pops up. For some reason, it's showing me a lot of cars all the time, muscle cars, even though I'm not looking at them. Okay, look. Look, Japan is... let's look at this. Japan spacecraft goes dark during attempted moon landing. A Japanese company is trying to... They think by 2040 they're going to have 1,000 people on the moon. And they'll have visitors as well. These are just like the news stories today. Yes, Russia launches nuclear-ready hypersonic missiles at Ukraine port city in major escalation. Hey, what did I say? Hypersonic missiles, and that's what they did. I'm a prophet, right? One of the world's most active volcanoes erupts again. Man, we're talking about 1,000-foot lava. I mean, and not just a small fountain, it's huge. Since the Big Bang, yeah. Millions of Americans told to close windows. Remember, I was just on my motorcycle. I went somewhere to go for a walk. It's all hazy and everything. Man, millions of people, the wildfires in Canada, I believe the wildfires were set on fire. I can prove it from 2023. I made a video on this. You know who you are who watched me. Dutch Sins was the one who pointed it out. A whole bunch of fires. I would say about 15 to 20 of them on a sunny day all began at one time, and for smoke to be seen on satellite has to be huge. Yeah, I just don't buy it. I'm Canadian, by the way. So it's in Canada. Like, it's just awful. And it's affecting a lot of people. 32 dead, 321 injured. The manhole explosion crisis in America. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to look into it. San Andreas fault. Look, do you see good stuff? Gateway to hell, eh? Okay. Turkmenistan reduces 50-year fire dubbed gateway to hell. They're targeting me with cars that I could never afford nor want. Okay. Massive gold discovery worth 84 billion poses threat to wildlife. Yeah, okay. Look at this. I didn't hear of this one. This is live, man. Another volcano. I haven't heard of this one. Crazy. Yeah, let's take a look at this one. These are happening like every 2 days. Like the blinders people have on, man. And it's the sun and magnetism. I believe that eventually you're going to see double the amount going off. This is not a big eruption or anything, but like I'm seeing these all over the place.
A huge asteroid, several hundred feet across, is dashing towards Earth through the black nothingness of the cosmos. Ooh. Brace for the terrible news. There's a 72% chance it might hit Earth in 14 years, with potential impact zones being North America, Southern Europe, and North Africa, some of the most densely populated areas on the planet. Astronomers have been keeping a close eye on the space invader for a few months, but now it's moved too close to the sun, and tracking it is impossible for the next 7 months. Of course, there's a 28% chance that it will miss our planet altogether. But what if it doesn't?
Think of the gravity.
Global devastation and destruction, that's what. Thousands of lives lost, billions and billions of dollars in damage, entire species wiped off the face of the Earth,
trillions,
ruined cities and towns, destroyed fields and forests.
I don't even know about this, like
whether it's the future awaiting for us.
What this one is about.
Well, now you can breathe easy. That's just a hypothetical scenario created by NASA
I was like, what?
to prepare for a situation like that.
I would have believed it
An
with
asteroid
today.
impact in the ocean is one of the most terrifying natural disasters imaginable. The idea of a giant...
You hear a lot about this, lately?
In December 2017, a blurry photo...
Yeah, so let's shut this off. Guys, I'm just trying to show you that there's... Yeah, they're targeting me. China reveals secret 4 megaton nuclear warhead with 7,500 mile destruction. They're building their stockpile big time. And anyways, I think I'll stop here, but yeah, I'll just stop here. And then now you guys summon, and I'm gonna stop here, but hey, there's the Americans, that much of America with the smoke. Americans warned to stay out of the sun in 16 states this weekend. Particularly why? Is it because of the Canadian wildfire smoke? I didn't hear this. Okay. I don't know. It's God who is controlling the sun and the magnetism, everything to do with it. That's why magma is forcing its way to the surface. I have no idea. This is in God's hands. I believe we're probably going to see a lot more volcanoes and those types of things, which I find interesting, but God bless, guys, and have a good night.